Hey everyone, I have my friend Maley here. Buttercup and I are going to chat with Maley today about just how her business has changed in the past. I guess it's been 6 months
It
since we
has been.
met, or a little bit more than 6 months. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself personally? Like, where do you live? What do you like to do for fun?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm originally from Arkansas, moved out to Tennessee. My husband's from Tennessee, but moved out to Arizona in 2000 with a corporate transfer. And 4 years ago, we sold everything and now we're nomads. So we live on the road and have done that. Again, this is 4 years and absolutely love it. So
What do you like most about being a nomad? Because that to me, I'm like, I'm never moving out of my house for the rest of my life. I think I just have like divorce kid issues. But like, what do you like most about being mobile?
I've loved just seeing the US. There's so much beautiful country out there, but also we've met some amazing people on the road, and that's been fun. The relationships we've been able to build, and people we've been able to see that, I spent 3 months with my mom this summer, that
Yeah, I
I was taking
remember.
classes from her house. And so that was fun, just having that freedom. But I also love just the simplicity of this life,
Yeah, that's
right?
cool. Yeah,
I don't
I
have
love
much
it.
stuff anymore. Yeah, it's
Not so
fun.
much stuff for dogs to chew. Um, okay, can you give us like a before and after? Like before we met, what was your business like? How did you feel about it? And then where are you right now?
Absolutely. Before, I think Tasha, well, we've talked about, I had a little bit of imposter syndrome. Like, okay, I've built this business for 15 years and felt like I had done really well. And then I kind of felt like, I'm not doing so good the last year or so. So I was beginning to have some stress and worry and guilt over that. I wasn't necessarily recruiting like I should have been, right?
Uh-huh.
I'll probably say wasn't doing any really at all. So I was just very, very much into helping enroll shoppers, right? And then helping them with the products, but not necessarily going further and asking, hey, are you open to looking at a way to generate income or get some products for free? I wasn't taking
And
that step.
and so without taking that step, you mentioned a lot of stress and worry and guilt. So your business was not going in the right direction. Am I understanding that correctly?
Wasn't going in the right direction. I mean, I will say I was in my comfort zone as far as the income
Income.
was there. I was comfortable, but I have so many goals I wanted to go further, right?
Yeah. And I do want to just note and kind of give you kudos for being in the top percentage of the industry that you do support your family with your network marketing income. And I think a lot of people, right, like that's one of their goals or dreams. And so I want to give you that recognition, regardless of how you felt at the time. That's still a tremendous accomplishment. What does your business look like right now? Like, do you have any like numbers or like to help people quantify kind of where you're at right now?
Right now I have 3,000 what I would call shoppers in my organization. And those customers on average have about a 97% retention rate. So they're shopping each month. So that is the
Oh,
income that I
amazing.
can count on. What's that?
Yeah, that's really great.
Yeah.
Now, over the past few months, you've seen a significant increase in your recruiting conversations, launched builders, and I think you held your new customers or even increased it
Oh
a
yeah.
bit, right?
Oh
So,
yeah.
do you know off the top of your head? I probably should have put that in the notes, but like how many customers have you gotten in the past few months? How many new builders have you launched? Like how some of those specifics.
Let's see. I've launched three new builders and one has gone, doing really, really well. The other two moving on up. It's funny. My husband is meeting with one new builder right this minute. So that's kind of fun.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
as far as enrollments, I'm going to say probably 15, 16 over the last 4 months. I
Nice.
mean, my goal is always four is the floor for me.
Yeah, yeah, that's really great. But you've got the builders too. So let's talk about what's changed for you. What are some things that you implemented? So you took the customer first sales mastermind, then you did the bonus coaching, and then you hopped in Resilient Leader, which is our small group coaching program. So we'll just mush it all together. and not worry about it too much. So what are some of the things that you've implemented that have helped you to stabilize your income, grow your, I think your income's gone up, right?
It
And
has.
then launch builders consistently, and you seem like you're enjoying it and so stressed by it. So
I'm definitely having fun. Well, one of the first things was I started time blocking and really paying attention to where my time was and not letting distractions hit me. So that was
yeah.
something that I definitely learned in the first class, is really know what I'm spending my time on and scheduling that and making sure I
Mhm.
give myself enough time to cover those activities that I need to cover. What do we call that? The time fallacy? What is it?
Time estimation
Yes.
fallacy. So
Yes.
we have to double our estimates because we schedule time based on hope, how long we hope it will take, not how long it actually takes, and that's the human condition.
Yeah. And then another, and I really feel like this is a habit now, is just having the agenda, right? For
Mhm.
every, like you say, for every appointment that we're going to do, and let them know exactly what's going to happen. And I think that has helped tremendously because people know what to expect.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit more. So what's different from before to now?
I think before I would do a little chit chat and get to know people, but I wouldn't necessarily say, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do X, Y, Z. This is how long it's going to take me. And then at the end, blah, 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 blah. And it's just more comfortable for me now
Mhm.
going through everything as far as the tour of our store and letting them, then going through the referral side, letting them know exactly what they're
Yeah,
going to see.
I love that. That's great. Tell me a little bit about the different roles you learned in the business. Do you hear Piper? Do you hear her?
A little bit.
Piper. Okay, we'll see if she can calm down on her own. Otherwise,
It's all good.
all
It's
right.
all good.
Yeah, talk to the CEO versus
Um,
the employee.
that was just a brilliant aha moment for me to know that there are definitely times of CEO. My preference has always been to stay in CEO and do management mode,
Hmm.
right? And that's what I like to do for my
Yeah.
team. I'm a little bit of a control freak, so if there's something that needs to be done, I like to be the one to do that. And I was way there too much, right? And so now that I understand that I need to set the day or set the week, whatever, as a CEO, but then as the employee, I need to come in and get that done.
Hmm.
And that has been really a blessing for me to understand those two roles and know that they're okay. I'm going to do both of them, and that's okay.
The question I was asking was the three things: time blocking, the agendas, and the CEO versus employee. How did that impact your recruiting?
I think as the CEO, I knew that the employee needed to go get this work done for the business to move forward.
Yeah,
And so I had to answer to the CEO and go, okay, I'm going to go get this done.
that's
And that,
awesome.
and then obviously the agenda helped me with, just preparing someone when I was sitting
Yeah.
down doing strategy sessions, what have you. Yeah.
Well, I think the agendas actually help with the action at the end because what you're doing is you're saying, we're going to go over this, that, and the other thing. You don't
Mhm.
have to take the action, but if you like to take the action, I'll show you how to take the action. And then they go, okay, yeah. So then what happens is then we're on the hook to actually ask the question at the end.
Right,
Where I think when we start with chit chat, we're like, chit chat, chit chat.
right,
Okay, well, let's just see where this goes. And you're not on the hook to ask the direct question at the end. And the direct question is what helps
right, right. And
actually create action.
yeah, I think too, Tasha, the gaining agreement questions that I've learned through several, through the classes, that's been wonderful as well, because I've been able to really think before I ask something and
Mhm.
okay, make sure I'm using the correct word in order the way that we want to move forward, right?
Yeah.
Do
What
I
are
want
some
to use the word
examples
campaign?
that you think would help anyone who's,
Well, I've always known not to use at the end say, okay, what do you think about this? Right.
yeah,
I know not to do that, but I didn't understand the true psychology behind why.
ah,
So
do you
that has helped.
remember or do you want me to? There, everyone listening is be like, why? Do you know? So
because
do you
it,
remember, or and if not,
oh,
I'll fill it
oh,
in.
absolutely. Absolutely. Because when you say the word think, that's giving them time to really process and think of objections,
Yep.
right? And go very analytical on you.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't, you don't want that, right? They need to go with their emotions. So you want to say, how does that sound? How does that feel?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Feelings create actions.
Yes.
And so we want to ask, how does that feel instead of what do you think? And it's like, it's life changing.
It
And I
is.
think it also is life changing for them because when we ask someone, what do you think? Then they get sad because remember, their feelings are action oriented. So if you were to ask someone, how do you feel? And they're like, I feel like this is going to go well. Well, those feelings are in there. And if we draw out, what do you think? They're actually squelching their feelings
Yes.
and like making themselves, talking themselves out of it. And then they leave bummed out. It reminds me when I got unsold buying new hockey skates. I left sad. I walked in with money to buy hockey skates. The guy talked me out of it. And then I was sad. And I think
Yes.
we need to remember is that people enjoy buying things that they want to buy, and we can't do any, things that make it harder for them because then they just leave like they're just as sad about no sales as you are. It's not like they're like, yay, I won this. Like they usually want the stuff. What are some lessons that you learned from this whole experience so far?
So far, I think one of the things that I've enjoyed the most is learning my strengths
Yeah, let's talk about that.
and feeling like, oh, first of all, it answers why you do things the way you do them, right? So you understand yourself much more. And now you can go back and say, okay, these are my top strengths. And that's what I've appreciated most of just learning, okay, I'm going to use this strength in this situation, this strength in this
Yeah,
situation. It's been very resourceful.
that's good. Can you give an example or two just so people under what we're talking about is a Gallup Strengths Finder assessment. And so what we do in our small group coaching for once people have finished customer first sales, if they join Resilient Leader, whatever the new name is going to be, we're going to rebrand that. Maybe by the time this comes out, we do strengths coaching once a quarter. So that's what she's talking about for those of you guys that are listening. So what are some examples of things that have been helpful for you?
Oh, I think a couple of my top strengths, responsibility, input, communication, consistency,
Mm-hmm.
and empathy, right? And I know I'm very empathetic towards people and I want to make sure that everything's okay. And so that helped me understand, okay, why I'm that way. I love to research. I love the details. Give me all of them. Give me all of them. So that's my input, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, sometimes I try to spew all of that to people and they don't need all the details. They don't want all the details. So it helps me to understand why I'm like that. Responsibility is probably the biggest one that if I tell somebody I'm going to do something or if I set a goal and it doesn't happen, that really, really gets me.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's my number 6. You didn't know that?
I think I did.
It
Yeah, I
is,
think
it has a strong hold on me. And so I've learned a lot about like the good things about why that means that there is a podcast every single week, no matter what. But it also means I stress myself out so much by like, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough? Oh my gosh, right? So I relate to that one a lot. Um, what advice, just kind of to wrap up here, what advice would you give to other network marketing, people in network marketing based on what you've learned over the past several months?
here's the biggest thing. For 15 years, I always said not never, but I'm not going to spend a lot of time with any outside consultation, right?
Oh, okay.
For training. And I've dipped my toes in a couple and they just never felt right. And I ran across your ad, right, in Facebook. And I just said, okay, this is a Christian girl. I gotta look at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think just you guys being so down to earth and that your
Thank
passion
you.
is teaching us how the sales process, right? And it doesn't matter what you're selling.
Mhm.
It's all the same. We can use that same agenda. We can use those same questions,
Mhm.
right? And I would just say invest in yourself, right? That was the most important thing that I did, is just really decided to go outside the box and let's really see what somebody else has to say. And it's been life-changing for me.
Oh,
It really
yeah,
has.
I'm gonna have a feeling. I'll write it and I'll write about it in my diary tonight. Thank you so much, Maley, for sharing your story. And I just have to tell you, it is so awesome to work with you. You're just such a great student and so attentive and respectful and implementing, and it's just been so much fun. So I hope for
It's
those
been
of you
fun.
guys that are watching this or listening to this, drop Maley a little like, hey, thanks for sharing and what you learned from it. And we definitely hope this was encouraging to you. So bye, everyone.
Thank you.